Hey everyone, I'm here to talk about the mini electric pump by Medela. You can find this pump on Amazon. It's also on the Medela website, but I'm not too sure if I've seen these in the stores. I'm first going to go through the pros and then the cons and then a little overview. First off, this would be a good pump to move mastitis, to freeze milk, to try and encourage more milk, and to do a pump and dump. It is really easy to find replacement parts. The membrane, the valve is pretty easy to find, as well as these bottles. These pieces you can even find at Walmart. The membranes and the valves are really cheap. They're about 12 bucks. I also found them at Toys R Us. You can find them on Amazon. They're pretty easy to come by. There is batteries in here, and they're standard batteries. You can find them anywhere. So you always have power, and that's a bonus. If you don't need to use the batteries, it does come with a charger. It is a 3-volt. Another really good thing about this is that you have one hand free. It might not seem like such a big deal, but going from 2 pumps to 1, you can definitely see the benefits. You can soothe your baby, you can play on your phone if you're bored. You can do so much with just one hand. Another thing that I really liked about this is no tubing. So you don't have to worry if you're nursing your baby on one side that the baby is going to fuss with tubing, especially when you are running with a battery and not the charging cord. Overall, there's very few pieces to assemble and clean. Another pro is that this is really easy to travel with. Look how little room this takes up. Now for the cons. This is a very part-time pump. This is literally, I would say, if you're planning on pumping once a week or less actually. Obviously, if your batteries are running low and you don't have your cord with you, you're going to get less suction. And usually you only find this out about midway through your pump or by the end of the pump when you didn't heat as much milk as usual. So I call those missed pumps, or I don't know, it just kind of wastes that precious minutes that you may have spent. I don't know if it's just me, but I swear there's a smell that comes off of this bad boy when the batteries are running. Another downfall is how loud this pump is, especially if you're trying to pump when your baby is sleeping or if you're nursing and pumping at the same time. It's just really loud. It's the loudest pump that I have. A huge con is, of course, the price. This bad boy sells for $130 Canadian. The charger is a 3-volt and the rest of my chargers are 12-volt, so they are not interchangeable. It's not a huge con, but if you have several pumps out for some reason, those charging cords are not interchangeable. These membranes here are easily ripped, and these valves can also break. There's no timer or backlight on these, so you have to keep track of how long you've been pumping. The way that this pump is set up, I feel it is not always clean, even if I've cleaned it, and that's why I steam. If you can see in here, there's just a lot of turns and it's kind of hard to clean in there, so I don't always feel that this is the cleanest system. This doesn't have a letdown phase like some other pumps where it has 2 minutes of a different type of suck to encourage your letdown to release faster. So here I will show you how loud this system is and the suction. On here there is a start and a stop and a minimum and maximum. You're gonna have to figure out at what strength you want to pump at. Right now I'm 2 full turns from minimum to maximum. So here you have basically the engine and the battery pack. All you're going to do is dislodge it here, and it is hiding or housing your batteries right here, and it's just 2 regular double A's. Next you have the pumping tube, and it is just 1 piece. Next you have your valve like this and your membrane. Make sure to remove your membrane before you start cleaning it, otherwise when you rub it back and forth you're going to rip it. As well as jiggle your membrane out of the bottom instead of turning, because you might crush this inner little part here. It is not that strong. Next you're going to take this plastic part and you're just going to put your valve on securely in the bottom. When you don't have suction, the number one reason is that your membrane has a tear or is missing, or you forgot to put your valve on altogether, which happens because you're tired. Next, you can secure your bottle on the bottom, very easy. Then there are these little markings here on this side. There's also these lines here. Line those up and push it in, and then move the battery pack up. The Medela word will be straight across the top. Slide in the flange and make sure it's secure and you are ready to go. You can add your cord at this point if you like. Also, if you pump a lot of milk, lucky duck, just hang on to an extra bottle by your side so you can switch out bottles when you change sides. Lids are also handy, and like I said, I keep these little membranes with me at all times because they are pretty finicky. Also, they fit down the sink. My final thoughts on this product is be honest about your pumping expectations. I have a hand pump, I have this mini electric, I have the Medela swing, and I have the Medela FREESTYLE. Altogether that comes to like $1,000 or something. If you're just realistic about what you need out of your pump in the first place, you only have to spend that money once. This happened because I didn't want to buy the $450 pump, but the thing is I doubled that money because I wasn't honest with where my breast pump needs are going to end up. Also, I was kind of hoping that I was able to sort out my issues with the doctor and lactation consultant, which didn't happen. So in a way, it is just a natural progression. For the price, I would actually just suggest a hand pump. There's nothing that great about this pump that I would tell you to go spend $130. My hand pump is a LANSINOH hand pump, and it is really good, and it was only 55 bucks, and it works really good, and I have no problems with it. For having to move milk, that is perfect. I actually used it several times a day in the beginnings. It holds up, it works really good, and it is almost a third of the price. Medela has steam bags, which comes in really handy. There's 5 in a box, and they each have 20 uses, and I really use those a lot, especially with this one because I don't feel that it's that clean. So make sure that you're either boiling or steaming. If you're not sure how long you need to be pumping, I pump for 20 minutes on one side. So make sure to keep an eye on the time. You definitely need to aim for that 20-minute point to get your breast emptied. If you're trying to make extra milk, it needs to be an extra pump. So if your baby is eating 8 times a day, you need to be pumping number 9. Otherwise, you're just going to be pumping it and then feeding it to your baby. If you're having problems with breastfeeding, see a doctor or lactation consultant as soon as you can. Those problems are not always easy to eradicate by yourself, and it might mean that you can breastfeed naturally instead of having to pump full time. And remember, breast is best. Thanks for watching. Love yas. Mwah.